Hey guys, I am doing a property investment analysis for a new client. The clients are, let's have a look, Vesta, personal details. We are doing it for Daniel and Jasmine. I-N-E. I won't put their details in this example, but I have met the clients before and I know that Daniel earns $75,000 and Jasmine earns $38,000 per year. So it'll give us a good idea of their taxable income. Okay, so we've got their joint income here. So property value, let's look at what we're actually going to show them. So this is what we're going to show them today. It is from Glenville Homes, a Glenelg 22 square home, house and land package, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathroom, double car garage. And it is in Werribee in the Grand Vista Boulevard and the Cornerstone Estate. Okay, so it is $549,930 is the price. $549,930. So let's put the price in. $549,930. There we go. And it'll be titling at the end of the year, so complete mid sort of 2019. Okay, 4-bedroom home on 400 square meters of land. There's our price in there. So what else do we need to know? We need to know how much the stamp duty will be. So that's the total price. The land price is $298. So what I do, to little cheat here, is I put $298 for the land. I go to purchase costs and I use Victorian stamp duty rules, and the stamp duty is $12,950, and the transfer of title is $783, and conveyancing costs are around $1,200. I know clients can get it for a lot cheaper, but that's, at least it's going to be that price. Okay, so let's change the value again, $549,930, and then we've got our purchase costs all in there. Okay, now investments. This particular client is actually putting no cash into it. We're going to use equity in their home. So capital growth in Werribee. Let's have a look, shall we? So capital growth, Werribee. And I use Your Investment Property magazine just to get my figures because they've got all the suburbs. And where's go? So the quarterly growth is 2.6%. 12 months it's only grown by 20%. Well, that's quite large. But the average over a 10-year period is 8.27%. So let's put that in, 8.27%. 8.27. That's very high, but we'll adjust that later if we need to. Inflation, this is all our expenses going up at least 1.5% per annum. And the gross rent per week. Now I know what we can get here, but if you want to look at how I work it out, this says the gross rental yield is 3.65%. Weekly medium advertised rent is $340, but I like to be a little bit more accurate. So I'll actually go in here, rent, Werribee, search. Oh, I should change that to, let's have a house, 4 bedrooms, and search. Okay, $440 per week, $500 per week, $380 per week, $400 per week. That's a lot smaller place, but look, we're probably looking around the 400. That's older, smaller. Probably looking around the 400 per week mark, I would say. That's older. That's horrible. Anyway, 350, 360, 390 to 410. Yeah, pretty similar. So let's be conservative and we'll just put 390. Okay, 390 per week rent. So we'll bring up our rental expenses. This is how much it's going to cost the client. So we charge 5.5% to actually manage the property. We charge 1.5 weeks rent to find a tenant, and the rates are around $1,650. I think they're actually around $1,850 in this area, And insurance is $550. You can get it for a little bit less, but $550 is pretty right. There's no maintenance. It's brand new. There's no body corporate. You don't have to pay for cleaning, pest control, or anything like that. So there's rent. Okay. So what we also have a look at here is our rent. Yeah, there you go. Gross yield 3.65%. So our vacancy rate is 1%. Now, look, guys, the properties are usually rented out for 2 or 3 years in a row by the same tenant, but this assumes that we have to find a new tenant every year. So we have all the expenses involved of finding a new tenant, which is letting fees, advertising, whatever it is. We just charge that at a one-off fee, right? But this assumes that that's what's going to happen. Okay. Now, interest rate. Look, we'll do an interest only for now, and we can refinance out anytime we want. Interest only, interest rate of say 4.5%. We could do a lot cheaper actually, but we'll be conservative here today. Okay. So we know how much the property is. We know the purchase cost. They're not putting any cash into it, so we're using equity in the home. If they put cash into it, all these figures would change. And we've got depreciation of the building, so $251,000. Now I know the fixtures and fittings here are around the 40,000 mark, okay, in this particular home. And obviously I can't be accurate with that because the guys will have to actually do a depreciation schedule. But so the property price is $251,930 and 40 grand of fixtures and fittings. $251,930 leaves us with a building price of, we take 40 grand off, $211,930, which can be depreciated at 2.5% per year for 40 odd years. Okay, and our fixtures and fittings go over an 11-year period. This is a pretty conservative depreciation schedule, the way it works it out as well. So if we look at all the figures, we've got a joint income here of $113,000. This is basically showing me that these clients will be out of pocket around $31 a week. So with if hopefully we get a bit more rent, we get a better interest rate, we tighten things up a bit, they get it even better. But even at this, it's costing $9,448 per year before tax, and they get $7,830 back on their taxable income, which means this property's $31 a week. Next year it's 38, taxes change, 42, 40, and 35 after 10 years. Okay, so that's basically that. So that's a big picture that obviously it's pretty neutral and it's costing them less and less, but their tax benefits change every year. But the good picture, if it is 8.27% growth, we are looking at $652,000 worth of equity over a 10-year period for $31, $38, say $40 a week out of pocket, which is not bad. But let's just say we don't get this huge growth in Werribee. I mean, there's a new train station coming in, so it's a good chance we're going to get good growth. Let's just say it becomes horrible and it's only 4%. There you go, $250,000, $248,000 better off over a 10-year period. But the good news is we can look at, say, in 5 years' time, maybe 3, depending on the equity in their own home as well. We're looking at enough equity there to do it again, okay, to find another place. So there we go. Let's just do a report, customize report, and we'll do tax benefits and who pays. Here we go. So here's our report for Daniel and Jasmine on this property. These figures we just went through. This goes through property value, the purchase cost, the investment and loan, capital growth, the equity, the loan type, interest only for now until they pay off their own home, the rent per week and vacancy rate, the rental expenses are all in here. Okay, so everything to do with the property is in here. And then we come down to some interesting things here, which is the tax benefits. So we've done 99% in 1 in this particular example. So that's the tax benefits there. If we actually change that, which I didn't know it was 99 and 1, but if we change, there we go, it is 50-50. Okay, makes it a little bit worse. So we want to balance it out, and they do this at settlement. We might want to make it 80-20, depending on what you want to do, what your structure is. You can see how it changes, and who the breadwinner is in the family. If they're pretty even, you do joint. If they're pretty one-sided, you might do 99 and 1, or even 100%, depending on what your accountant might recommend for you. Okay, so go back to report. There we go, scroll down. So who's paying for the property? In the first year, the clients are only paying for 7% of it, the taxman's paying for 25%, and the tenant's paying for 68%. And over a 10-year period, there you go. The client's only paying for 7% of their nest egg to return $250,000 over a 10-year period with only 4% growth. Look, it's probably going to be, last 8 years, it's been 9-10% growth average. It's probably going to be around the 6-7%, but let's be conservative. Even a conservative figure, these clients are 250 grand better off than they were when they started, which is great. Okay, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you next time.